So you may or may not have heard about the release of Rockstar Games' brand new game, Grand Theft Auto: The Definitive Edition. Well, technically it's a re-release due to it being a remaster, but you get the idea. Anyway, this bundle contains 3 of the most beloved and well-known titles in the entire GTA franchise in one package, which were remastered to polish their aged graphics and controls. These games were GTA 3, GTA Vice City, and GTA San Andreas respectively. Now the concept of this sounds amazing, right? The trailer that came out before release was pretty promising, was it not? Well, the game was an absolute catastrophe. The reason why this was the case was because the developers, Grove Street Games, who were notorious for their shitty Xbox 360 remaster and mobile port of San Andreas, was put in charge of remastering not one game, but 3 of them to a very high standard. Because Grove Street Games are incompetent game designers, this plan was absolutely doomed from the moment it was presented in the office. The issues with the trilogy were varied in all 3 titles, ranging from game-breaking glitches, to graphical errors, and even missing assets in some cases. From my personal experience playing in the Definitive Edition of San Andreas via the Game Pass, I have ran into many glitches that either stuttered the frame rate or caused the game to misbehave in ways that demonstrate just how little of a fuck they actually gave about this game. I can't even go 20 minutes without seeing the glaring issues with the game. Why was the fuck removed? Why does Rain follow CJ around and clip through buildings? Did anyone even test this shit before they shipped it out? Such as San Andreas either, these issues are prevalent in all 3 games. GTA 3 suffers from a lot of clipping and mechanic-based bugs. Vice City suffers from a lot of graphical errors, missing textures, and wonky character modeling. Speaking of character models, let me start off by saying the character models are awful. While some character models look okay at best, the rest are just blatant examples of how little care was put into this remaster. Either the characters look like Sims 2 models on a kilogram of cocaine, or they look like aliens who've come to invade Earth wearing the skin of mankind itself. It's honestly shocking that Rockstar Games, a billion-dollar company who was once one of the most respected gaming companies for literal decades for their high-quality releases and passionate projects, even greenlit this for release. Especially when they even stated themselves that the release wasn't up to their standard, but we'll get to that later. You have to remember that a human being, a person who gets paid to model and recraft these characters, looked at this and said, yep, that's pretty good, keep it in the game. I shit you not, it's not even just the character models either. One example is ordering food in San Andreas. The pizza is literally a PNG. And by the way, this is $60. You have to pay $60 for this shit. It got so bad that Rockstar literally took down the PC copies of the game because the games were literally unfinished. I shit you not, you can even find the code for the hot coffee activity in the Definitive Edition. If you don't know, the hot coffee activity was basically a sex minigame that got scrapped since it cost Take-Two $20 million in a class action suit. But it doesn't end there, lads. This is just the tip of the iceberg. It was inevitable that Rockstar Games would address the disaster of a release, since it was costing their parent company, Take-Two, to lose out on that sweet, sweet moolah. So how did Rockstar Games, the company who is under immense heat for their blatant lack of care for the remasters via Grove Street Games, respond to all of this mess? To sum it up quickly, they pretty much lied, played victim, and attempted to hide the fact that they are a corporation who could give a rat's ass about the player base. It doesn't matter if you polish the game even further now, the damage has been done. People won't buy this piece of shit just because you put a coat of paint on it. It's still shit at the end of the day. But Brad, they're giving out free copies of the original games to the people who brought the game. Isn't that good? It would be, if it wasn't for the fact they literally made it unpurchasable and basically forced you to buy the Definitive Edition if you wanted to experience these 3 games. This wasn't an act of kindness or compensation, this was a scummy and snaky scheme in order to milk as much money as possible from these games and the people who bought them. And then they go on to ask the community to not attack staff and developers for this? Now, common sense will teach you that attacking and threatening anyone, online or offline, is wrong, and it obviously is. The whole point of bullying and attacking is that bullies or attackers act the way they do in order to garner a response or any form of attention from their victims. Count that into the fact that basically hundreds of millions, maybe even millions of people are furious, and that a fraction of them are these scummy types of people. You're gonna get attacked for it. So using your staff getting attacked online as an excuse or a way of victimizing your brand is not only cowardly, but it makes Micah from Red Dead Redemption 2 look like a fucking saint in comparison. Overall, the Definitive Edition was an absolute disaster of a launch. From the jarring models to the blatant lack of testing, this game just goes to show that Red Dead Redemption 2 might be the last game we see that has that signature Rockstar Games polish, and that the golden ages of Rockstar Games are starting to come to a close. Sure, the trilogy isn't 100% unplayable. I'd even say it's fun, but that's only because the original games themselves are fun, rather than the definitive edition having any involvement in the fun factor. So please do not spend $60 on this outright unfinished and rushed pile of dog shit. Go buy a game that's actually worth your time and money. You know, like Wallace and Gromit, The Curse of the Were-Rabbit for Xbox and PS2. But yeah, that's going to wrap it up for this video. Make sure you let me know what you think of this whole bullshit in the comments below. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one.